It was 6:12 a.m. when I heard pounding on the door. Not a knock, not a tap, pounding, like they were coming to arrest someone, and when I opened the door there she was, Karen, HOA president, bathrobe barely tied, hair in full fury mode. Behind her stood two deputies, eyes scanning our porch, and there stood my wife, Amelia, calm, silent, holding her coffee like it was just another Tuesday. Karen pointed straight at her and barked, "That woman is trespassing on my HOA property." My wife. She didn't blink. She took out her phone, one call, activate. "This is Director Monroe. Full override, start stream, tag all channels." By the time the deputies realized who she was, 100 zeros. Zero people were watching live. And that was the moment everything shattered. Part 1 conflict begins 8:300+ characters voiceover. Eddie, let me take you back. 6 months before the showdown on our porch. I never thought I'd see my quiet wife, the woman who spent her mornings feeding horses and baking sourdough, go to war. But that's what it became, a war. We had just moved into our dream ranch, 12 acres of open sky, wild grass, and a red barn that had stood for 70 years. It wasn't fancy, but it was ours, bought clean, paid in full, deeded, fenced. The first 3 weeks were heaven. Birds, sunrises, silence. Then she arrived. Her name was Margaret Blake, 61, always in beige, always holding a clipboard. At first, we thought she was just another neighbor, kind of nosy, kind of sharp. But hey, it's a small community. You wave, you move on. But Margaret didn't move on. She knocked one morning while I was fixing the fence. She didn't say hello. She said, "You'll need to submit a maintenance request before making alterations to exterior structures." I stared at her. "This is my fence," she smiled. "Your home is under the jurisdiction of the Ridgeview Valley Homeowners Association. All changes require approval." I laughed. I told her she had the wrong property. We were outside the HOA boundaries. That's why we bought it. We'd checked, triple-checked. There was no covenant, no contract, no monthly dues, nothing. She didn't like that, not one bit. Next week, we got a letter in the mailbox, no stamp. No return address, just a typed note with a red sticker. Notice of violation, unapproved fencing material. We ignored it. 3 days later, second violation, failure to maintain approved lawn condition. Our lawn. It was a field. Then came the photos, snapped from the road, of our porch, our shed, even our dog. Karen, yes, that's what the neighborhood called her, had started her crusade, and she wasn't alone. She claimed there was a new HOA annexation proposal in progress, that our land had automatically fallen under HOA management due to Clause 18D. Only problem, Clause 18D didn't exist. Amelia knew that. She'd worked in law, but she didn't react. Not yet. She just started documenting every letter, every visit, every lie. She built a file the size of a phone book. But Karen, she didn't slow down. She started staging inspections, showing up with clipboards, flashing a fake badge that read Ridge, U code compliance. She'd strut around our porch, tap walls, scribble notes. She even tried to peek into the barn once until our horse, Rocket, almost bit her clipboard in half. Then the fines started. They came in heavy. $150 unauthorized agricultural activity, $300 operating a non-conforming mailbox, $500 failure to attend HOA meetings. She taped them to our gate, sometimes twice a day. We laughed at first, but it got darker. One afternoon we came back from town to find the barn padlocked. A bright orange sticker across the door. Condemned unsafe structure. HOA review pending. I was furious. Amelia, she stayed calm. She removed the sticker, cut the lock, and walked inside like nothing happened. But I saw something shift in her eyes. She wasn't just annoyed anymore. She was planning something. What we didn't know then, what Karen never bothered to check, was that the woman she was targeting wasn't just a homemaker. She wasn't just a loving ranch wife. She was Director Amelia Monroe, head of operational oversight for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. She had retired from public view, yes, but she never stopped working, and now she was tracking everything. Karen's fake documents filed, the staged inspections filmed, the phony fines printed from a pirated HOA software she didn't even own the license for. Amelia compiled it all. She wasn't just documenting abuse. she was preparing a federal case, and Karen, she was digging herself deeper, because the more we didn't react, the bolder she got. She printed a forged eviction order and taped it to our front door. Claimed we had 10 days to vacate Ridge, U Valley HOA Holdings. She even stood on our property line and yelled across one morning, "You can make this easier on yourself, honey. Just sell and go. We've got buyers lined up." Amelia didn't respond. But that night, she typed a single email and made a single phone call. She told me, let her come, let her bring the sheriff. Then she placed a camera in the flower box, another by the gate, synced them. Encrypted the stream. Why? I asked. She just smiled. Because they won't believe what's about to happen unless they see it with their own eyes. And then we waited. 10 days later, Karen brought the cops. And the clock started ticking. 6:12 a.m. The knock wasn't polite. It rattled the glass pane. When I opened the door, I saw 3 silhouettes, Karen in front and 2 county deputies behind her. They looked hesitant, unsure of why they were there. One held a manila folder. The other, a body cam already rolling. Karen didn't waste a second. She shoved a printed eviction order toward my face. "This property," she barked, "is under emergency HOA seizure due to repeated code violations. This woman," she pointed toward Amelia, standing barefoot on the porch in her bathrobe, sipping coffee, "is illegally occupying restricted land." Deputy Carter stepped forward. "Sir, ma'am," he said gently, "we received a call about a civil dispute. We're not here to arrest anyone, just to investigate what's going on." Karen interrupted him mid-sentence. "You have everything you need in the file. The Ridgeview HOA board has authorized removal." She refused to comply. "It's a clear trespass." The second deputy squinted at the folder. He looked confused. "This isn't even county verified. Ma'am, this looks like a printout from... What is this, WordPad?" Karen's jaw clenched. "She's squatting. She's not on the deed." Amelia finally spoke. Her voice was low. "Calm. This property was purchased under Monroe Holdings. You'll find that the deed is registered under Federal Protective Registry, line 8. B." Karen laughed. "Oh, please. What, are you in witness protection now?" Amelia set her coffee cup down on the railing. Then she pulled her phone from the pocket of her robe. She tapped a single icon, Monroe, ID 4592, begin federal override, confirm encrypted stream, push to internal channels plus external fallback. The phone blinked. Voice stream active, multi-agency broadcast initialized, channels tagged, visibility public, 117,400 viewers. Karen stared. "What is this, some kind of prank?" The deputies took a step back. Their radios crackled. Then came the call. "Unit 24, confirm your 10-20, stand down, do not proceed further. Possible federal identity confirmation in progress." Deputy Carter turned pale. "Wait, Director Monroe." My wife nodded. She turned the phone so they could see. A live feed, her credentials, the seal. FBI Oversight Director active clearance. The other deputy slowly removed his sunglasses. "You're her." Karen stepped back like she'd seen a ghost. No, you're faking this. This is illegal. She's making it up." Amelia didn't flinch. She walked down the porch steps, slowly, calmly, a woman in slippers, no makeup, not even a brush through her hair. She looked Karen in the eyes. "You forged 16 documents under the name of an unregistered HOA. You filed fraudulent liens on federal property. You staged unauthorized inspections and impersonated a code official. You threatened federal agents. You used counterfeit seals." Karen's face was draining color by the second. "You streamed surveillance of our home," Amelia continued, "to a Facebook group you created under the name Ridgeview Enforcement Watchdogs. You shared photos of me in my own yard, and now you've involved law enforcement under false pretenses." Karen started backing away. Deputy Carter reached for his radio. "We need CD right now," but Amelia raised a hand. "No, let her speak." The camera in the flower box zoomed in. The one by the gate caught everything. Over 100,000 people were now watching. Karen tried to talk. She tried to twist the narrative. "I was protecting the neighborhood. You don't belong here. You're just hiding behind some badge and fake land rights." Amelia's eyes narrowed. "And you, Margaret Blake, have 2 active fraud investigations pending, one from California, one from New Hampshire. both under aliases. Karen froze. I didn't think it would go this far. My wife stepped forward, lowering her voice. You tried to evict a federal agent from her own land, on camera, in front of witnesses with fake files. How far did you want it to go? Karen collapsed onto the gravel, her clipboard dropped. So did her printed eviction orders. They scattered in the morning breeze. One deputy helped her sit up. The other started placing a call. Meanwhile, I stood on the porch stunned, still holding my mug, and Amelia, she didn't move. She turned the camera toward herself. And she spoke. This is for every homeowner targeted by fake associations, for every family extorted under phony rules and imaginary fines. Today, Ridgeview's fraud ends. By 7:13 a.m., Ridgeview Valley HOA entire website went offline. The so-called board members gone, deleted profiles, fake names exposed. Local news was already at the gate. So were neighbors peeking from behind fences, watching the woman who'd bullied the whole valley for years. Finally crumble, but the biggest moment, when the screen went black, and a single line appeared, fraud documented, prosecution pending. By 8:02 a.m., the street was lined with news vans. The story had already gone viral not because someone got arrested or because a HOA overstepped again, but because a woman in a bathrobe, holding a mug of coffee, brought down a 6-month HOA scam live in front of the entire country, and not with shouting, threats, or lawsuits, but with proof, with poise, and with a voice that didn't tremble even once. By noon, the Ridgeview Valley HOA was officially declared non-existent. Turns out, there never was a legally registered homeowners association for our area. Not a real one. Karen, real name Margaret Eleanor Blake, had been exploiting a clerical loophole in the county zoning paperwork, fabricating a governing board, inventing bylaws, and issuing fraudulent citations. She used cheap printing software, borrowed HOA templates from old neighborhoods she used to live in, and recruited a few board neighbors by convincing them they were protecting community value. She even got 3 to act as the board, 2 of whom were her cousins. One of them thought it was just for fun. Amelia's team confirmed it all. Federal database hits connected Margaret to similar scams in 2 other states, dating back a decade. In one case, she targeted a widow in New Hampshire. In another, a small organic farm in Arizona, but those cases never stuck. No one pushed back hard enough until now, because this time she forged documents against a woman who oversaw federal-level intelligence operations. And when the footage hit national headlines, there was no escaping it. The stream replayed over 7.8 million times in the first 72 hours. Clips flooded TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Bathrobe FBI director ends HOA tyranny. Karen tries to evict wrong woman gets FBI'd. One call, one camera, total justice. By Friday, Margaret was under house arrest pending formal charges of mail fraud, identity falsification, impersonating a government official, illegal surveillance, cyber harassment, and attempted real estate fraud. She tried to claim mental illness, tried to say she didn't know Amelia was someone important. But the evidence crushed her. Emails, fake invoices, secret recordings, even footage of her bragging to someone on a Facebook group that she had another sucker on the hook. The judge didn't flinch. No bail, and Amelia, she didn't do victory laps, didn't smile for the cameras. She spent the next morning like any other feeding Rocket, our horse, brushing him gently under the rising sun. Neighbors started visiting. Quietly, cautiously, one by one, they brought pies, letters, apologies. I'm sorry we didn't stop her sooner. I was scared she'd find me too. I thought she was legit. She had so many papers. We didn't blame them. That's the thing about people like Karen. They prey on your fear of being the only one who says no. They wrap their control in red tape and printed threats. And for a while it works, until someone fights back. Until someone stands still while the storm rages and refuses to move. I remember that Sunday clearly. The mayor called, offered Amelia a public commendation. She declined. A week later, the county board voted 9-0 to create an official registry of all legal HOA accessible to the public, searchable by address. Amelia helped draft it, not because she wanted revenge, but because she wanted protection for the next family. The next ranch couple, the next retiree, the next immigrant. The next, anyone who might be too afraid to ask. Who gave you the right to tell me I don't belong on my own land? Our property was never under threat again. No more fake fines, no more clipboards, no more lies taped to the gate. But something else happened too. The neighborhood changed. People started talking to each other more. They asked questions, compared notes, realized how much they had let Karen intimidate them without ever checking if she even could. 3 months after the incident, we held a cookout. Open invite. No forms, no fees, no clipboard. Just a smoker, a few hay bales, and 50 folding chairs. And they came, dozens of them, laughing, hugging, sharing their Karen stories, and as the sun dipped low behind the barn, Amelia stood up quietly, looked over the fields, and whispered, "That's all I ever wanted, for people to see each other again." She never bragged about what happened, never retold the moment the stream hit 100K. But that phone, the one she used that morning, it's still in the drawer beside her nightstand, and, fully charged, one button, ready, just in case someone else forgets who she is, or who she's protecting, because Amelia Monroe isn't just my wife. She's a quiet storm in slippers, and when the storm comes knocking, you don't bring fake papers, you bring the truth, and you better be ready to prove it.